Guys, yes, the markets have been going down recently, but I got some information which I need to share with you today, which tells me that I think that we are going to see one more drop in Bitcoin. Guys, today I'm going to explain all of this. I am going to put everything together so that you can understand what is going on behind the scenes. I'm going to talk about the important whales you need to pay attention to, at which levels are they going to be liquidated, and also why do I think that we are going to have another leg down here very soon, although Bitcoin is already at very low prices. So welcome back everybody, my name is Cristiano, bringing you cryptocurrency videos every day, teaching you how to make money in this market. If you're new to the channel, then make sure to subscribe and activate the bell right now. And guys, just like I said, this is a very important video, so make sure to watch this from the beginning until the end. Let's kick it off first here on the 4-hourly time frame, and you can see, if you just zoom out here, you can see that we have been in a massive downtrend, and we have been failing to make anything of the bounces. All of the bounces have basically been dead cat bounces, just for whales to sell into and shorters to short into as well. You can see that this bounce didn't manage to break above this orange box. This bounce didn't manage to do that as well. And at this point, I told you that I was very convinced that I think that we are going to continue to the downside. Found some support right here and then another leg down, and now we are finding ourselves in a situation where we have a lot of problems breaking through the $19,000 level. So we find ourselves right now at 18,500. We actually went as low as 17,500 yesterday. So that is where we find ourselves. Now, before I talk about what's going on in the market right now and why I am very cautious right now, I still need to reiterate that I am long-term the biggest bull for Bitcoin. But these factors that have been pushing down Bitcoin, this all started with, of course, the downtrend in the market, which led into Luna collapsing. And since Luna collapsing, I've been very cautious because I knew that there was going to be massive contagion with Luna collapsing, and we are seeing the dominoes fall one by one, be it 3 Arrows Capital, be it Celsius Network, be it Babel Finance. You're seeing all of the dominoes fall right now, and until we have seen the last of those, or at least the grand majority, and once we have more information and the dust has settled, I am staying away from the market because I think that we are going to have some more downside. Now, I also think that the downside is going to be limited because we have been falling so much already, and at certain prices here, there's just going to be, so much buying demand for Bitcoin. We are going to run out of sellers eventually, and that's the situation. But if you look at the overall picture here on the weekly time frame, this is pretty obvious that I think that yes, we are overshooting to the downside. I still think that we can have some more downside, but I don't think that you're going to have, another 50% from this point or anything like that. But there are a couple of things we need to pay attention to. So on the traditional markets, you can see that we are in a very low level here. We haven't really been at this level during the last couple of years or so. And the traditional markets are opening up today evening, the futures markets. And if we do see the traditional markets open up red this evening, that is of course going to have a massive impact on Bitcoin. So guys, make sure to pay attention today. Also, we have basically wiped out all of the stock market gains since the COVID crash. So all of the gains during the bull market in traditional markets have been wiped out. That is not the case for Bitcoin. We're still at a much higher level in Bitcoin compared to where we were at when the COVID crash started. Back then, we were at $10,000. So Bitcoin is still at a much higher price compared to the start of the bull market after the COVID crash. So the fear and greed index is at a 6. This has never been this low. And this is actually also lower than what we saw during the COVID crash right here. You can see that we were kind of like at 10, 9, 11. That is the general vicinity we were in at. So this just goes to show that I think that we are overshooting to the downside. The problem is though that I'm not going to try to time a bottom here. Instead, I'm going to wait for the bounce. I'm going to wait for the dust to settle. And I think that we are going to have a lot of time to position ourselves in altcoins and in crypto in general. Now, a big thing I need to talk with you all about is BlockFi, because I think that BlockFi may be in trouble. Now, BlockFi, they are a lending company, kind of like Celsius, kind of like Babel Finance. Now, there are cause for concerns when it comes to BlockFi. So let me take you through this thread right here. And BlockFi is probably going to undergo a liquidity crisis this year. And keep in mind, the things that have been crashing Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, has not been that they haven't had money. It has mainly been a liquidity crisis issue because Celsius, yes, they have a lot of STETH. The problem is they cannot liquidate those STETH. It's locked in the Ethereum 2.0 contract, which put them into a liquidity crisis, and this is why they went under. Same with Three Arrows Capital. They have a lot of money in not only STETH, just like Celsius has, but also in GBTC. So let me explain GBTC a little bit. So GBTC is actually Bitcoin, like to put it simply, it's Bitcoin, but it is put into an investment instrument, which makes it available to be bought on the regular stock market. So as you know, during a bull run, people want to buy Bitcoin and they don't know where to buy it. So they go over to their favorite investment platform or the stockbrokers. They search for Bitcoin and they realize that they can buy Grayscale investment Bitcoin. And this is actually, it's cool, it's good. The only thing is that this has usually been at a premium, meaning when you buy GBTC, you're actually buying it at a higher price than when you are buying regular Bitcoin. And in a bull market, that's fine because people just want to buy Bitcoin, shooting the premium even higher. Now, traditionally, this has always been at a premium, but you can see that recently it has actually been at a massive deficit. You can see the purple line here. You can see that the premium rate is minus 26%, meaning if you're buying GBTC, you're actually buying the Bitcoin at a less price than what it's actually worth. Meanwhile, when the premium is positive, you're buying GBTC at a higher price than if you would buy Bitcoin. So how are GBTC shares actually created? Well, they are created by institutions who take actual Bitcoin and they put it into GBTC, which issues shares, which are then traded on the stock markets. Now, the problem is you cannot redeem the GBTC shares for Bitcoin. So this is a one-way street. You take Bitcoin, you put it into GBTC, and then you can trade the GBTC shares, but you cannot take out the Bitcoin until it is converted to another financial instrument. And that is why they're trying to convert this into an ETF to be able to redeem the Bitcoin from this actual investment instrument. Now, what BlockFi has been doing is that because traditionally GBTC was trading at a premium, they would take customers' Bitcoin and they would put it into GBTC and then selling those shares, thus profiting from that spread. Well, the problem becomes, again, when you see that the GBTC premium has been going down, they're actually losing money by selling their GBTC. And during the start of the bull run, you can see that so much shares were issued. Here on the holdings page, you can see how much this went up. And right here, you can see how much new shares were actually issued. And you can see it stopped in 2021 in February. And since then, the premium has been going down, and thus there's no point for institutions to put Bitcoin into GBTC here because the premium went away. They're just gonna be losing money that way. Now you may wonder why this blue chart is going down here, which represents the total holdings of Bitcoin if it's not able to be redeemed. Well, that's because GBTC also takes out a fee, and that is the only way they're able to sell Bitcoin. So there's a small fee for them managing your Bitcoin, and that is why the Bitcoin holdings have been going down, because you haven't seen new Bitcoin being put into it, but the fees have been eating up some of the holdings here. Okay, so let's get into why BlockFi may be in trouble. So we already know that Celsius already went under. We can see that a lot of crypto assets are being withdrawn from BlockFi, and this may lead into a liquidity crisis for BlockFi as well. Now, we also know that they lent money to Three Arrows Capital. So how much did they lose on lending money to Three Arrows Capital? Well, probably a lot. They also actually kind of confirmed that they had lent money to Three Arrows Capital right here. And just like I said, BlockFi owns stupid bets in the market. BlockFi is the second largest holder of GBTC, Three Arrows Capital being the largest holder. And we know what happened with Three Arrows Capital, right? And as I explained, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, is a TradFi, traditional finance product. And when Bitcoin is pumping hard, TradFi investors could not figure out how to buy Bitcoin. So TradFi investors FOMO bought up GBTC, via stockbrokers, which gave BlockFi an arbitrage opportunity, putting customers Bitcoin into GBTC and then selling those GBT, which worked out great for as long as the premium was there. But right now, the only way for BlockFi to get out was to sell GBTC to someone else or wait for the SEC to finally approve GBTC and convert it into an ETF, which does not seem to happen anytime soon. So BlockFi are basically stuck with these GBTCs because if they sell their entire bag, well, that is going to continue to push the peg down and they are going to lose a lot of money doing that. In fact, the discount is at an all-time high recently. If you look at the discount right here, you can see that the discount have been going down to negative 35%. And this is illustrating that someone is selling a lot of grayscale Bitcoin right now, but they are selling it as this discount is going down lower. They're selling it at less of a price. And yeah, that is bad news for BlockFi because their holdings have been going down with the premium going down here as well. And they are probably one of the biggest ones selling right now to keep up with the liquidity they need for withdrawals from customers. Also, by the way, they have been fined with $100 million. So BlockFi agrees to pay $100 million in penalties and pursue registration of its crypto lending product. So $100 million, I don't know about you, but that is not something that I am just able to, put up like nothing. So this is also, giving them a massive hit. They had to pay this. Also, they have other settlements they need to pay. Also, they are trying to raise funds right now, but it doesn't seem to be going that well because their valuation went from $3 billion to $1 billion. And this was before all of the drama with Celsius, and unverified sources have told us that they only have between $50 to $80 million committed so far during the current funding round. So they are in need of liquidity. Does not seem to be anyone willing to give them that money. So what do they usually do in circumstances like these? Well, they start delaying. They have, holidays so that you cannot withdraw because you're only able to withdraw once a week on BlockFi. So they put that specific day as a holiday. Now, this could be fine. I'm not looking to spread FUD here, but I think that if they go into a similar situation like Celsius went into, then that is bad news for crypto. So until all of this has settled, if they do something like what Celsius did and halt withdrawals or whatever, that is going to cause some more panic in the market. And yes, that is definitely something that we need to be on the lookout for. Also, miners right now, they were some of the biggest customers from these lending platforms, and they are at a very tough place right now because they are barely making any money on mining here. And also, how has everything been affecting them when it comes to these lending platforms going under? We're yet to see the implications there as well. Now, also the Celsius wallets, the Aave wallet is in a pretty healthy state right now. The Maker wallet has a liquidation price of 13,600. So both of these wallets are relatively fine for now, but I still don't understand how they are going to get out of this situation because they are still heavily in debt and which they have to pay back, but they do not seem to have the money to pay back all of this debt. So yeah, we will see about that as well, guys. And guys, don't forget to join my team over on Bybit, where you are able to trade with me and claim $4,530 if you use this link right here. So make sure to use that if you want to join my team. And thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.